A very warm welcome to the second webinar of ReXtro 2025, the Silver Jubilee Tech Showcase organized by the Faculty of Engineering, University of Ravenna. Today, we embark a journey of ideas under the solutions for smart and resilient infrastructure, a topic that challenges us to rethink how we build and live in harmony with environment. This session is a part of 2025 webinar series celebrating 25 years of excellence. Whether you are a student, an academic, or a professional, your presence makes this dialogue more meaningful. I'm Hasani Mahedi, a first-year undergraduate from University of Rotterdam. I'm thrilled to have you all join us. Let's learn, question, and shape more sustainable and inclusive. Today, we are honored to welcome a visionary who doesn't just teach sustainability, but reshape the way we live with our environment. Professor Rangika Halwatura, Senior Professor at University of Halwatura, has pioneered eco-friendly materials, waste management systems, and environmental restoration projects, proving that engineering is about as much as building structures. With his belief that sustainability is not a choice but a responsibility, he continues to inspire community and future engineers alike. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Rangika Halwatura. Sir, we are delighted to invite you to deliver your keynote speech.
Thanks, Dua. I hope I'm audible enough. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thanks. It's good to always talk to a different set of people from a different university. Actually, I visited your university a month ago. I came to your university to talk to the first years. That was my first experience at Rona engineering faculty. I mean, I like to hear your mistake saying a senior professor of University of Rona. I mean, I love to see me to be in other universities and empowering the youth. I mean, wherever you are, whether you are Ruhuna, Moratua, or even non-engineering, I really love to be with the students and to see whether we can empower the next generation. Well, I mean, it's not to change a country or change a community or change the world, but if I can at least change one mind, one person, that's my success. So that's what I'm basically looking for. So with that small remark, I really happy to accept your invitation, and it was really an honor for me to talk to you, especially with respect to the sustainable construction infrastructure and the smart technologies. So, without taking much time, I'll just share my presentation. And good to see the numbers. I mean, more than 100. The audience is always a good number to talk, whether it's face to face or even online. Though I was not given the permission to share the screen. Please check whether. Still, I can't share the screen. Hasandi, can you hear me? I can't share the screen yet. Hasandi, can you hear me?
Sir, can you hold on for a second
all right, okay.
until we give you access?
It's okay, fine. Go ahead. Well, yesterday I was with one of the intern from I think electrical electronic graduate. We were doing AI powered elephant detection and monitoring system. Though I'm a civil engineering person who's doing civil engineering stuff. I really love to do a lot of the multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and cross-disciplinary research. So I'm working with a few of my electronic and electrical students from University of Moratuwa who have gone into the business and who are doing well with their enterprises. So yesterday we installed uh, one system to do a pilot testing at Behavior Zoo to see our system is working well and to train our the system. So there I met one of your intern. I don't know whether he's here in the audience today. So well, time to time I meet the students and the graduates from university. So it's love to have this particular session. At least even online. So right, got it. I got the sharing. Let me share the screen.
That's happy to hear, sir. So can you check your access?
Yeah, now I can. Now I can. Yes. Hope you can see now. Can you see my screen, please? Can you see the screen? Hello? Yes. Okay, got it. Right. So I was given a sort of a different topic, and this is across the faculty, so that I know there are different disciplines, different I mean students and graduates with different backgrounds. So I thought of like starting my the presentation with two small videos. Uh, one. Let me play the video and then you will be able to realize what I'm going to talk with and what I'm going to talk to you. The first video is about uh, yeah, hope you can see the video now. It's about Gaza, and the video is basically with two segments. One is before 2023 and Gaza as of now. There's not much difference in the same Gaza, but you can see many of the structures are all collapsed. The road network is no longer there, and no vehicles moving, but you can see some of the people here and there. And if you look at before moving to my left-hand side video, if I just brief on what I'm going to discuss with this Gaza video, well, the conditions in July 8th, 2023 and September 1st, 2025, both the conditions were basically built by the humans. The first one was a nicely constructed. This one actually, it's a nicely constructed city with beautiful the roads, beautiful structures, and the people are moving here and there happily. And this one was so disrupted, and that again a man-made the scenario. So the man-made, the both incidents are man-made. It's not really natural. It's not really natural. It's all the man-made the scenarios. Gaza 2023 and 2025. Keeping that aside, that's on my right hand side. I'm moving to the left hand side. I'm not going to ask any questions here. It's a very interesting small video. Once again, I mean, before moving to the content of the video, I could say it's again not natural. It's not natural. Though you feel it as natural, it's not natural. It's again man-made. It's made by my students who are working with the Coral project. And this particular structure is a tiny piece of coral which was got up. The video with the facility to enlarge the small the piece, and you can see thousands of polyps moving here and there. And they are the people who are basically building the coral. So, but whatever said and done, the two sides, the left and the right, both are man-made. The structures. By looking, my left hand side was so appearing to you, though it's not natural. It's so pleasing and so close to your eye. Whereas my the right hand side, it's so disruptive. But all the three, the concepts, the content are man-made. They are all man-made. They are all man-made, but we don't like to see what you can see in my right-hand side. Uh, Now, moving to the topic, I mean, I'm going to talk about the infrastructure, the construction, development. There can be so many other words to express what I'm going to say, but within the within brackets, I could say it's all about. I'm going to talk about the sustainability. I'm sorry to say the sustainability concept which we teach and which we study at the universities and in the social media, and not only the social media, which basically fed by the west of the world. I strongly believe it's a myth. It's a myth. I mean, you take Gaza, that was all. I mean, this 2023 scenario, that was all a hard work of millions of people for many years. And maybe they have adapted so many the sustainable features, the energy efficient features, the environment friendly features. So how to, though you can't see trees here and there, but still they have tried almost all possible ways of uh, achieving some sustainability there. Not only, I mean, we'll forget the Gaza, who people lived in Gaza, but you take the rest of the people, the world. You have 8 billion population in the world. Out of the 8 billion, at least few millions are trying hard to set up this natural environment back. So we are working really, really hard. Not only the educated community, even the uneducated laymen, they are trying their level best to restore the nature. But you look at what was happened within the 2 years, or maybe few days or few seconds, within few seconds, just because of a mad or a sort of a sick person mind, the entire the approach made by 8 million people are just destroyed. I mean, that's happening not only at Gaza. You know what was happening in Nepal. You know what's happening in US, everywhere in the Pakistan Indian border. So everywhere we spent all our time, all our days to set up this sustainable natural environment. But all of a sudden, just because of one particular person's the mindset towards being the ruler of the world, the entire effort will be destroyed. So that's why I told you sustainability is just a myth and a word and a concept only, which you and I don't want to believe. So whether it's construction or the infrastructure or smartness or whatever you talk today, whether it's civil engineering, electrical, electronic, mechanical, so whatever the discipline you bring to the field, bring to the podium, still I believe the sustainability is no longer there. But whereas, I mean, you take the Gaza and what is happening at the rest of the world out, you take the others, the small video. It's a small piece of coral. It's you can't even see through your naked eye. And that again, as I told you, it's not really from the sea. I mean, I haven't done this particular video below water, below the sea. It was recorded in my coral tanks. I have set up the tanks which I'm using to grew corals, because I'm the only person, or we are the only the team in the country who owns the corals outside the sea. So we have the research facility for corals. It's not really civil engineering, the marine engineering and electrical engineering. Even the IoT sensors and the setups they are established to run the show there. But whatever, this particular small piece is basically, we believe it's so close to the nature. The reason is, now let's say, now each and every polyp, I mean, you have set the environment, or rather we have set the environment for them to play their show either natural or in a natural way. So what we have done was just to give the environment right, or rather set the right condition for these tiny creatures which you can't see naked eye. But if you set the right sense, right condition, right the water level, the temperature, the salinity and the pH and so and so, you set it, they will do the justice. So not like the Gaza, we having millions of people, and just because of one foolish the attempt, we are destroying the nature. How whatever the effort of 8 billion population for many years, many decades, just a matter of a second, the entire thing will go. But whereas these tiny creatures, which you can't see to a naked eye, if you set up the condition, either natural or in the artificial setup, still they do the justice. So what you need to understand is sustainability is not a concept, it's a feeling. So if you can feel the sustainability, you can do wonders. So that's my initial message and sort of the take home message at the very beginning through my the first slide. So keep that the thing. I mean, it's not a subject, it's not a concept, it's not a definition. It's basically a feeling. So if you can feel the sustainability, if you can feel being natural or near natural, the rest is fine. The rest is really nothing. You will be, at least you will be on your own. You will be able to happy on what you are doing. You forget the rest of the world and how they think and what they think. But if you can at least be satisfied with what you are doing and knowing what you are doing is right, that's well enough to show that or to feel that you are more towards or close towards the nature and you are sustainable. So with a small note, I'll take you to my the presentation. Well, from Gaza 2025 September 1st, I'm going to take you to the Sri Lankan history way back 3,800 years back from today. So we have this particular story is basically 3,800 years back, and you can see you have two sets of the images. The image one that is to your that is my to my the left hand side. It's I could say it's the oldest, the clay burnt tile which was found in Sri Lanka. So it's a burnt clay tile which was found in Sri Lanka, and that's the oldest burnt clay tile. So it's not a big technology. I mean, you can easily say easily see. I mean, they got the bundle of clay, they tamped it, made a hole at the top, made it to a symmetrical structure, and they burned the tile, and they have used it for their roofing. As I told you, I mean, there's nothing big. It's so a simple arrangement, but just imagine the era. That's just imagine where they lived. This is 3,800 years back. So even the Lord Buddha, the Jesus Christ is our Christ, or whoever, they have not even thought of. I mean, born in this particular the world. So. In I mean that's about I mean that's the era we are talking about. It's not the modern tech modern era. It's 3,800 years back. So that's, as I told you, it's the oldest burnt the clay tile found in Sri Lanka, and that was found in Anuradhapura. It's not really the Anuradhapura where you and I go and visit today. It was found in an excavation of 32 feet down from where you and I see as Anuradhapura. So that's where we found this particular the clay tile. And as I told you, there's nothing big. I mean, it's a very simple technology. It's very sort of a layman technology there. You forget the tile. I'm taking you to the other side of the story. That is my right hand side of the screen. It's again the small piece of a roofing tile. History goes back to 1,800 years back from today and found near Jetavanaramaya. You can see, I mean, you go to the bottom image, you can see the cross section. Actually, that's my two fingers, and you with the fingers you can measure the thickness of the two the layers. The bottom is a thick clay layer, and over the clay layer, you can see it's not a thin glazing. Actually, it's a glazing layer. It's like the normal glass. So over the clay layer, there is a thick glazing coating. So if I tell you the production procedure of this particular tile, they took the clay, they pressed it. It's not a clay tile like in the left hand side. It's a pressed clay tile. You press the clay like the Calicut tile roofing. So they press the clay, and over the pressed clay, they have applied or they have placed a thick coating of glazing. So I mean, you all are engineering students here, and you have studied mathematics, the physics, and chemistry. When you go to chemistry, you know about the coefficient of thermal expansion. So each material has a different value for coefficient of thermal expansion. So when you give a heat stress, the material will expand in different way. Let's say the glazing will expand. You increase the temperature by 100 centigrades. The amount of the expansion of glazing is completely different to what is there in the clay. So that's what the modern science says. That's the modern science. But I mean, let's say, okay, that's the science. At the same time, if I give you a few examples, let's say you take a piece of asbestos, you throw that to the a fire, it will give this the cracking sound, and it will make it break into the pieces. You get the glass, the cup, and you pour hot water, boiling water. In a matter of a second, the glass, the cup will make into pieces, because the material, even a single material, being a single material, that can't undergo a thermal stress because of this particular the coefficient of thermal expansion, the property. But this particular, the roofing tile, with two materials intact, that was burned at a temperature of 850 centigrades, and you can see the top surface of the tile, that has not a single crack. So that means definitely they have changed the coefficient of thermal expansion. They didn't come to either Ruhuna University or Morotu University to study about the material science. This 100% deep material science. They have changed the material properties. It's not a normal material property. It's very deep inside material property, coefficient of thermal expansion. So they have changed the coefficient of thermal expansion. That's why even at 850 centigrades, that is intact, and not a single crack on the surface. I mean, amazing. That's really amazing to see how they have changed the material properties 1,800 years back to the history. They haven't had the University of Runa. It's only 25 years. You have Moratua. That's again the same. So we are. I mean, these people who lived in 1,800 years back, or even 3,800 years back, they haven't had any sort of a scientific knowledge, because they haven't had any proper the systematic education system in the world. So at that time, they have changed the material properties, such as the coefficient of thermal expansion. I mean, forget that particular story. I mean, that's deep science. Don't ever go and search for these two style samples. One is 3,800 years back. The other one is 1,800 years back. None of these samples are available in local museums. The 3,800 years back, the tile sample is there at my laboratory, because I'm doing a PhD, not me. One of my students is doing a PhD to study how they got this particular concept right. 3,800 years back, how they got this particular concept right. Amazing. I mean, amazing thinking, how they got this particular thinking. So I'm doing a PhD on that particular tile. So that tile is there in my small lab, the Peruvian lab now. Going to the other tile, that again at my the lab, because I'm trying to decode this particular technology, the glazed, the roofing tile technology. The reason is, well, you forget the technology, you forget this particular coefficient of thermal expansion, the glazing and all. I mean, you just forget it. But you get the concept. I mean, this is Anuradhapura. Anuradhapura is not the cold as Noor. It's so hot, the hot area. Today, I mean, if for you to achieve the thermal comfort inside in your dwellings, in your factory, in your the university, what you do is you have the roofing, then below the roofing you have the insulation layer, then you have the ceiling, and then either using a fan or the air conditioner, you will achieve the thermal comfort. So basically, what you do is you let the heat to enter into the building, and then you start fighting with the problems. So it's very obvious with the modern day era, because I mean we always love to let the problems to enter into the screen, enter into our room, enter into our lives, and we are start fighting. But these people, they found a mechanism without letting the heat entering into the building at the rooftop level. About 90-95% was reflected back, and with that only 5% enter into the structure. Now the fight is not with 100% of solar radiation, but only 5% of solar radiation. So that's how they managed to have the thermal comfort. I mean, just imagine their thinking. They started with the big issue. That was the internal structures in or inside the volumes are not comfortable. It's so hot, and that was the problem. And they try to solve the problem either in natural or near natural way. So that's the concept of sustainability. It's not to go into the cave age. You hang some the leaves and spend the life in the caves. No, that's not the sustainability. You can enjoy your life to the up to the down. You enjoy, you do everything under the sun to make you happy, but don't ever compromise the ability of your next generation to achieve their comfort. So, but within all the sustainable concept, the sustainable the discussions we do today are basically opposite of it. So you are trying to do everything, completely forgetting what is going to happen to the next generation. Not even the next generation, even you can't imagine what is going to happen to you tomorrow based on what you do today. So well, you take what was happened at Nepal. I mean, within a day or two, the entire country was changed. You go to the Gaza. I mean, there was a continuous the fight, but that's a different story. But within a second, within a matter of few hours, the entire the city, the country was down. So you not. I mean, forget the rest of the generation. Don't worry about what is going to happen to your the next generation, but your followers, your kids. But your tomorrow is at risk because of this particular myth of sustainability. It's a myth. I mean, that's how I'm repeating and reiterating the point. Sustainability is a real myth. I mean, it's so political. You and I even can't think of, because you are more towards being artificial, and you don't know what exactly even you are doing. But these people, they got the problem, they analyzed the problem, and they tried to solve the problem either in natural or near natural way. So that's why I said the sustainability is at I mean, was there in the history, but not today. I mean, nowhere. Even you plant the forest, it's for a different intention. So planting trees, making the natural structures, all these things are so into a business than being the real sustainable definition. So is one very good example for you to understand what is the sustainability. So the smartness, being smartness, the infrastructure. So whatever the topic you talk today with sustainability, I always say it's so political and it's a myth. So this one of very good living example. It's not a dead example. It's there. As I told you, I'm trying to decode this particular technology, and it's about 1.5 years now. I'm working with these two tiles, but unfortunately, still we are struggling to decode these materials. We have sent because we don't have enough testing facilities at the University of Moratu and even in Sri Lanka. So we had to send some of the samples to Japan to get the material analysis done. Still, we can't figure out how they have meshed this particular coefficient of thermal expansion and had have this sort of a thick layer over the clay. So we hopefully we are working on this, and hopefully we'll be able to find an answer within the next couple of years. So keep the finger crossed, and but we will see, we'll be able to do something with that. Well, that's about the roofing tile. I mean, I'm a civil engineer, so I'm into moving to the construction. So you take any of these structures, any of wherever you go, you will understand one simple common factor, a common feature in all these structures, that is either natural or near natural. All the materials, all the construction, they maybe either have follow the natural contours, natural structures, natural materials, the natural lighting, natural ventilation. I mean, if you are to learn about the sustainability, for you to adapt that with the modern day technology, modern day science, well, the examples are from the history, from the past, not from today. I can't pinpoint a single example from the modern day, the world, across the world, across this 8 billion population, to show that the sustainability exists with the modern day world, the modern day era. So going back to the slide, we'll take the top the location. You all know it's the Dambulla Lena, Dambulla the cave. Now the Lena was so the famous for its painting, and these paintings were not really imported from China or Europe. I mean, it's all made by the Sri Lankans. We are struggling to, or rather, I'm working on developing and deriving, or rather decoding the color palette of Sigiri. We are working on it. We have found a few the colors, but not the full color palette. But I'm not going to talk about the Sigiriya paintings. But if I tell you about something interesting for you to next time when you go there, for you to observe in Dambulla, you can see these large pots inside the cave, and all the time through the rock you will see the drips come into these pots. That means this cave is with high moisture content. If the moisture content is high, the next big issue is the mold growth. You will see the pus අපි කියන්නේ සිංහලෙන් පුස් හැදෙනවා කියලා. So all the walls you should definitely get the mold growth. The mold has to be there on the walls and the paintings. But you go there, you will see whether it's floor or the surface of the rock or the walls, you will not be able to find mold growth on these structures. The reason is you can see some of the structures inside the cave. You can see the supers, you can see some structure, the statues. I mean, all these structures are, well, in Buddhism, I mean, it's maybe with a religious reason, but actually, those structures are not made with a religious reason. They made these structures. I mean, all these structures are, as I told you, these are naturally ventilated and naturally lighted the structures. All these, the beautiful paintings, the color was basically taken out with the natural lights, not with the artificial lights where you can see today. You can see flashes here and there, but those days it was all natural. So you got the natural light, you got the natural the ventilation. So all the ventilation which enters into the cave, that was made turbulent inside the cave, and all the excess moisture from the wall surface was taken out. Just as, I mean, just try to understand and figure out how they have made it. I mean, for you to model this particular thing today, either you need to have a sophisticated high-end computer or a wind tunnel. But these people, without any computer, without any wind tunnel simulations, they have done this. Well, I mean, from where they got this particular knowledge? Unbelievable. They, as I told you, I mean, they didn't come to Ruhuna University, Peradeniya or Moratuva to study about the material science. They never study about the aeronautical engineering. They never studied about civil engineering, or they never studied about the mechanical engineering. And they never entered to any of these mentioned universities, but they went to the world best university, which you and I always forget. That is the nature. So they learn all these things from the nature. By burning, they can change the material properties. By the reflection, the direction of the light, direction of the wave. So all these concepts, they learn from the nature, not from any of the stated universities which you and I study today, which you and I learn today. So all these concepts are from the nature, and the world best university, as I told you, that's the nature, not the Harvard, not the Oxford, not the Cambridge. But unfortunately, many, I mean, almost all 100% of the population, even the world population, they are completely forgotten the best world university. But unfortunately, we are talking about the world ranking locally and globally, but the real world number one university is the nature. And all these people, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years back, they learned from the nature. That's the biggest university. That's about the construction. Talk. We go to the food and agriculture. Well, I have a separate research team who are working on the grow media development and the fertilizer development and the agricultural practices development. Being as a civil engineer, you can see we can do wonders. And believe me, I mean, about 80% of my the research team is from Rohini University, not from the engineering faculty, from agriculture, agri-technology, and the agri engineering, the faculty, the Rohini agri faculty. So, well, that's a different story about agriculture. But you go to the agriculture. I mean, one could say, well, there are about 100, 200 odd numbers who lived in Anuradhapura and they went to the jungle, they picked something and they ate and died. So that's what you can say after referring their culture, because there's no evidence such. But I'm not going to believe it. I mean, you look at the previous slide which I showed you, all these structures cannot be made by 100, 200 odd numbers. So there could have been millions of people who lived in this Anuradhapura era. They learn from the nature, and they learn one extra fact which you and I know, but we don't want to believe. That is, they knew that they're going to die one day. you and I mean, even at the ICU bed, the last minute, the last second, we are trying to have an extra second. But these people, they knew that they are going to die one day. That doesn't mean that, they were living in a mind of dying. That's a different story. I mean, they enjoy to the maximum, but they knew that they are going to die one day, and they preserved the nature. They kept the nature. They kept the environment for you to enjoy, and you and I enjoying Anuradhapura, Kalambu, Kalutara, Ruhuna. I mean, all these locations because of thanks to these people, because they saved the nature for us. You imagine what you do today, as I told you, because of or rather the disruption you made today. You don't have to worry about you don't have to even think of your next generation. I mean, these people have thought of many generations down the line, but you people, not the next generation. I mean, when I say you, it's including myself as well. So we don't even think of our self. We don't even think of our tomorrow. We just destroy the nature. So that's the difference between the people who learn from the world-class universities and people who learn from the nature. So that's the difference. So from the agriculture, let me take you to the medicine. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the Ayurvedic Vedakama who came with which came with King Vijaya. That's a different story. But before the Ayurveda Vedakama, the Ayurveda medicine, we had our own medicinal setup that's called Hela Vedakama. I'm not going to talk about this much, but I'll take one simple aspect from this Hela Vedakama. There's something called Rasa Vedakama. In Rasa Vedakama, Mercury. The mercury, what they did was they got the mercury, they put that into a stone cup, and with a stone stick, they were working with the material for days and months. And they converted this mercury, which is so a heavy metal, which you and I don't even want to touch. They converted this mercury to a drinkable, a very heavy and a strong drug carrier. Like this paracetamol, the tablet you take, it's about 0.001% is the drug, and the rest is the drug carrier. So they converted this mercury to a very strong, powerful drug carrier. You talked about the nanotechnology today, and we always give the credit to the West. But look at what they have done. They put the mercury to the stone cup with the stone stick. Every time with the stone cup touches the stone stick, while having the mercury in between, that was broken into another level. That's the technology you and I talk today. They never knew about that particular terminology. They never knew about the nanotechnology terminology, but they knew by breaking the material to another level, you can change the property. So that's nanotechnology. So still, even today, we have the Rasavedakam, but unfortunately, we don't have the technology here. We import the material from India, but you are basically coming from this blessed generation. It's not the best, but the blessed generation. To me, I mean, this is the best country, no doubt, but at least you take the best out. But this is a blessed country. So this was the history, and you can see, once again, I'm reiterating the point, they try to solve their day-to-day issues either natural or near natural way, whereas it's a complete disruption we do today. But these people, while preserving, they try to solve their issues either natural or near natural way. That was the history. From the history, let me take you to where you are today. I mean, you take your mobile phone, you will not be able to find a single thing which you can't do with your mobile phone. An engineer, I mean, don't waste 4 years at Runa University studying engineering, because the engineers are inside now. You won't believe the now the technology is so advanced. You have to you give your specifications. You can say it's a five-story building. This is the requirement. This should be the interior, and this is how it will be the lighting, the roofing, and so and so. You give the specifications and just press the enter. China is ready to fabricate the building and pack the building into a container, and they will ship the building to Sri Lanka. And it's happening now. It's happening right now. Many of the steel structures which are erected in Sri Lanka today are prefab structures from China. There's no longer we cut the steel and do the welding in Sri Lanka. No, never. Now everything is basically coming from China. So we don't need design engineers, we don't need architects, we don't need civil engineers anymore, because the phone will do the rest of the work. I mean, if you're not well, You just type the symptoms. The phone will give you the prescription. Very recently, one of my very good friend, he completed his the PhD. You won't believe it's not the Sri Lankan the university, but a foreign university. He has spent about 4 million to get the PhD, but still fine. Within matter of 18 minutes, he managed to complete the research and the thesis, and it's the printable version thanks to the ChatGPT 6. What else you need? Why the hell you have a computer and studying day and night for the 4 years where everything can be done using the mobile phone? Whatever the irrespective of the language, the knowledge is there in the phone. So you don't have to remember and memorize the knowledge. So if your lecturers are including my university, if you are, I'm sorry to say this particular point, if you are to restrict the access or not the access, I mean, if you are in with the 80% rule, which I'm not going to believe and which I'm not going to impose to my students, if I can't give a better lecture than what is there in the YouTube, I'm a failure today. If I mean, there will be thousands of good lecturers who deliver the content better than me in the YouTube. So you don't have to come to the lecture room. You can have a leisure the dress being in your hostel or in your boarding room, and you can get the content and the knowledge without coming to the lecture room. And it's a so waste if you come to the lecture room to study the same content. So when I'm telling this, you'll figure out the people here and there. But I mean, that's the real truth. You can't restrict, because if the lecturer can't give anything other than the content, you will be outdated. You will be thrown out, because the students, I mean, at the lectures, we should share the knowledge, no, the experience than the knowledge. So I can remember my teachers. I mean, they were wonderful teachers because I'm still following them. They're so brilliant brands for us to the follow today. But unfortunately, many of the lecturers we are at the state and the private universities today, we just give the knowledge. I mean, why the hell you we force the students to come to the class and study the content which is freely available in the internet. So the knowledge is no longer restricted. It's there in your fingertips. And we have gone to the mass, the moon, and we are about to land to the mass, because I'll not be able to own 5 from Mesh, but one day you definitely will be able to, if you have money, like many of the politicians who lived in Sri Lanka, if you have the money, you will be able to buy 5 in mass. Who knows? So that's the world today. I mean, you and I live in that era today. I was talking about the agriculture. Today, the agriculture is no longer with the soil. I mean, those days when you were kids, we got the clay pot. We even to plant a the flower, we put the clay pot with clay, planted the lotus flower, the plant, and put that to the water. So even the water plant was basically with the soil. But today, the agriculture is 100% water based, no soil, and that's called hydroponic. You add the fish there. That's called aquaponic. Even the fertilizer is not artificially given; it was self-generated using the water and the fish. And you have the bacterial growth. You have set up the tanks to grow the bacteria to the break this the waste coming from the fish, and that waste will give the NPK required by the plants. I have a separate section for the hydroponic and aquaponic at my university, at my civil engineering department. I have a separate greenhouse, actually 3 greenhouse, to study about the aquaponic and hydroponic, as well as the algae. That's the latest technology in the world. So irrespective of the field, right? Now the world is changing. That you need to understand. I was talking about the world population. It's 8 billion population. 8 billion people lived in this world. I mean, every day you will see a increase in the population, not decrease in the population, unless the Trump made a real bullshit to change the world, the population. But still, it's 8 billion. 8 billion means, I mean, you need more food, more food for the people. So but the scientists, they have changed the genes, and they have created not a bowl, it's a meat bowl now. So the world is changing, and sometimes you will realize that you don't have anything to do other than just following, because the technology is all set and all done. I'll show you another interesting image. The broiler chicken industry, when I was a kid, I still can remember it's 48 days. From this size of egg to 2.5 kilos of a meatball, 5 point of a kilo, the meat ball, that takes 48 days, 1.5 months. That's the cycle time when I was a kid. But today you won't believe it's only just 14 days. From this to a 2.5 kilos of a meatball that take only 14 days. That creature can't even think of dying. It will be killed and sent to your plate. So the world has come to that particular level. And this particular the cock is much different to what you have seen before. Because in the broiler chicken industry, the biggest the problem is actually there are two big problems. One is keeping this particular meat bowl healthy for 14 days. The next one is once it is killed, the cleaning the meat bowl. So they have found the creature now without feathers. So it's a matter of killing and sending to your plate. I mean, in the refrigerator, they will spend another 1 year inside the fridge, but the life is only for 14 days. Let me show you another thing. I was talking about the drugs and the medicine. You think of any disease today, the next day you will be able to find the drug. We had a hard fear in 2020, 2019 and 2022, 2020 and 2021 due to the COVID. I don't know how many of you will be able to remember that. We all thought like, we will die. But just a matter of few months, everybody started manufacturing the vaccine, and they were fighting to send the vaccines all over the world. But at the same time, I mean, that's the thing. You think of a disease today, the next day you will be able to find the drug. And especially the countries like Sri Lanka, we are so fortunate because sometimes you will get the drug. The drug will come to Sri Lanka, and the drug companies, they will find the disease is not there in the country. The next plane, you will get the disease as well. So you are in a very fortunate country. Don't ever think of leaving this country. So it's a fantastic country for you to spend the rest of the life. Well, that's the world which you and I see. But this is the world which you and I see, but we don't want to think of this particular cross section. I have shown you three houses which I have picked from the cross section of the dwellings in Sri Lanka. The top one is a very poor structure, poor, very poor the building. The middle one, I could say it's a poor structure, but the bottom house is the state of the art with all the sophisticated, the smart technology. When you go to the door, it will be opened by detecting your eye, the voice commanding you. You name any technology that's there in that particular structure. And let me, I mean, you complete, you forget that the three images, and I'll show you another three images. This is the main street, the Colombo main street before the independence. That means we are so poor. That is before the independence. And the bottom image is the main street today. So that's the main street which you and I can see today. And if you think about the sustainability, the smarts, the smartness, the infrastructure, you name anything, the technology and everything, the greeners, everything you take and you talk. And out of all these things, the world modernist city, that is this. That's the Hong Kong city. Hong Kong city, and that's the sky view of the Hong Kong city. When you talked about the sustainable infrastructure and being smartness, we always forget the rest. And we talked about the Hong Kong city and the structure there with all the smart technology. We never talked about these two structures and the families who lived in these two structures. Well, but let me take you one simple aspect for you to rethink what you are doing. You go to the bottom structure, that's where you all dream to be. You take a family, I mean, maybe the kids were going to the best schools in the country, and the parents are so busy, and they are doing the well set the jobs in the industry. The reason is, I mean, for them to maintain a structure like this, they need money. For them to maintain their family, they need money. For them to send their kids to a best school or a good school, they need money. So for everything, they need money, and they need to earn more. So they spend the day in the office, and they come to home. They come home, have the dinner, and they are working overnight as well. So they are trying to sleep by say 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the night. They can't get the sleep because their heads are full of questions and the problems for tomorrow. So they will take half a tablet of half a sleeping tablet and go to sleep because they need to wake up early for them to make the breakfast and send the kids to the schools. That's the bottom house. Whereas the top two houses, that's again not a very automated structure because everything will depend on one simple switch, one simple the sense. That's the sunlight, and the kerosene level of the kupilampu. So when the kerosene is over, until the next day morning, only thing they can do is sleeping. So the snakes are the gliding over the roof, and the inside comfort is no longer the bottom house, but still they have at least 8 to 10 hours of happy sleep, which you can't get it from the modern city in the Hong Kong and that particular structure. One simple aspect, not only the parents, even the kids who lived in these particular bottom house, which are the sophisticated technologies and the smartest technologies, still even the kids, I mean, near to a term test, they even don't sleep. For them to have 1 to 2 hours sleep, they get half of a sleeping tablet. So that's the city concept who we enjoyed in the cities in Sri Lanka and across the world. Whereas the other those two families, they are not happy because you have set the benchmark saying, look, I mean, you need to reach this particular level for you to say as you are developed. But actually speaking, they are much more developed with respect to the humanity and the being a human than the city people and the people who lived in that particular bottom house. Because you take that particular simple fact, they have at least 8 hours of good sleep, where you and I miss every day because by being complex, we have thousands of issues and we do thousands of PhDs to find solutions, and we do another thousands to get the best solution. Whereas those people, they have only few questions, few problems, and they try to solve it in a natural or near natural way. So it's completely up to you to decide where you are going to stay. I'm very sure you can't straight away go back to the top two houses, but well, where the rest of the world is moving in wrong direction. When a river flows downstream, you can't overnight you can't start swimming to the upstream. It's impossible. You will fed up. You will get tired. But what you need to do is, by knowing that you need to go upward than going downward, you go down smoothly with the flow until you get a good destination. You in a strong ground, then you can step into the ground, and at least you can walk towards the upward until you find your destination. Don't fed up with the system saying, I mean, you don't have this. Yes, fine, you don't have, because the rest of the world is moving in a strong direction. 8 billion population. That's why I said the sustainability is a myth and it's political. The entire world, but you can't change the world. You go with the team until you find your destination. අරකයන් අපි හොඳ ඉවුරක් හම්බ වෙනවා කියන්නේ, until you find this ඉවුර, you go with the stream to the downstream. Once you step into the Eura, you will be able to walk towards up until you find your destination. So that's what you need to do with sustainable education and being sustainable and trying to being sustainable. So one simple snapshot, you will be able to understand what exactly is sustainability. Well, I mean, don't think that I'm going to talk about the politics, but I mean, this guy is a real big politician in Japan. Who was killed very recently. He was the former Prime Minister of Japan, Abe. He was. I'm not going to talk about the Abe's the political background, but I put this particular the image because of a reason. In 2018, I happened to go to Japan to represent Sri Lanka. That's about the Science and Technology Young Scientist Forum. I was the person who was nominated because of the young the World Young Academy, the Young Scientist Award. I received the award, and thanks to the award, I managed to represent Sri Lanka in this particular the forum. There, the Abe came and he was talking, and he was the keynote speaker for that particular event. He was talking about one simple technology, that is 2000 way back to 2018. He was talking about a tractor. This tractor, or are the two tractors, can do the farming keeping 1 inch distance, communicating each other. Fantastic technology, artificial intelligence and machine learning. They develop a technology where they can communicate each other and do the farming. Amazing technology. So he was continuously talking about this particular the technology, and that's the end of the session. And he finishes the keynote. The next day, I had to come to Sri Lanka back from Japan. Believe me, I mean, Japan is not developed like Sri Lanka because I'm telling you the reason. I mean, you take any of your lecturers, if they want to go to the airport to leave the country, you have hundreds of vehicles at your university, and the lecturer has his own maybe one or two vehicles at the home. So you have a selection for you to select to go to the airport. But in Japan, it's all public transport, so you need to get the public transport. So as me, so I had to get the train to go to the airport. While I was traveling to the airport, I met this particular family. I was sitting at the other side of the train, the compartment. I found something interesting in this particular family, and I took my phone and I got a snapshot. So that's what you can see there. You can see it's very. I mean, you will be able to understand what exactly tells in this particular image. You can see the lady, the mother who basically holds the phone and working with the phone. I was spending 45 minutes with this particular family. She was holding the phone for the entire 45 minutes and he's busy with the phone. Look at the father. One side he holds the phone, the other side, other hand he holds the pram. The interesting the character is not the mother or the father. That's the kid. You can see the kid is not sleeping. He's awake. He's not sleeping. Maybe 8 to 9 months old. He all these 45 minutes he was looking the two back sides of the phone and he was not even making a single noise. The very previous day, the Abhi was talking about two tractors keeping 1 inch distance and doing the farming. The next day, I found a family. They are touching each other, not a single word. So if you think this is being mass smartness and this is the technology, I'm sorry to say, if you are trying to bring this particular technology passing the Indian Ocean to Sri Lanka, I'll be the first to go to the goal phase and to start my next Aragale or start the next Aragale because this is not the life, man. I mean, this is not the life. You go to any city in Sri Lanka, any rural city in Sri Lanka, any rural junction in Sri Lanka, you will be able to at least find 5 to 10 people who will smile at you, who you can go and talk to. But these so-called developed countries, they don't have that particular city. They basically completely miss the humanity and they are just going with the technology. They're so smart. But inside the smartness, the human is gone. It's all automated. It's a robo inside. So all these the disruptions are not computer chill marks. They are all natural. I mean, they every day you and I hear see these disruptions. I'll show you two interesting the scenarios. Actually, this is the before COVID in Japan in China, in 2019 December they went for a complete shutdown in China because of COVID. This is before the lockdown, and you can see it's so nice, so beautiful like Norelia, and this is exactly 14 days of the lockdown. So you can see the difference what the human have done for hundreds of years and how that was recovered by 14 days within 14 days by the nature, the so-called best university of the world. Let me show you now. I mean, if you can't remember COVID, let me show you another interesting image from Sri Lanka. This is normal Colombo which you and I see every day. The bottom image is the same Colombo that was last December. Every December, November to December, now we get this sort of a toxic cloud starting from India. It passes and going through Sri Lanka. One could say, I mean, it's Indians, I mean, not Sri Lankans who are destroying the nature, but still, it's humans. So wherever you live, whether in Sri Lanka, Japan, or wherever, it's human who do this particular disruption. That is basically risking not the next generation, but you tomorrow. Well, interesting cartoon for you to understand what I was talking throughout this particular 40 minutes. Uh, one guy was talking to the sun. I mean, it's night today, but every day it's so hot these days. Stoking to the sun says, I mean, it's really hot. You go to your settings, you go to your display settings, you reduce the brightness. It's so hot. And the sun replies and say, I'm sorry, I haven't done any changes to my settings for millions of years. You have done so many changes. You need to reverse them back. You need to increase the number of the trees. You reduce the concrete jungle, so on. So it's a huge list. But finally, the sun says, sorry, I mean you need to change the mode now, like in your mobile phone from the this airplane mode to the silent mode to the so and so. Now sun says you need to change your mode now from the auto mode to the human mode. The problem is not with my settings, it's your settings. You have changed your mode from human to the auto. Now you have to definitely reverse it back to the human mode. Otherwise, you have no future. That means you don't have a tomorrow, not the next generation, your tomorrow is really at a risk. So we can't forget that we are humans and we have to understand we are a temporary creature to this particular world. Unless you understand this particular foundation and the base of the story, base of the civilization, it's a big disaster. Well, that's all I was thinking of talking up. I have another 16 more minutes, or rather 14 more minutes to talk. I thought, this is sort of the speech done by invited speaker from another university. You don't know who am I really, but I thought like I should tell myself and my research team for you to understand what exactly we are doing at University of Morutu at Civil Engineering Department. For that, before, this is what exactly we were thinking. We wanted to go with the artificial intelligence and being smart, but this is what exactly we have done. Every step we put forward, we have destroyed the nature, and this is exactly what we have taken as our motto behind my research team at University of Morutu. So if anybody asks who am I could show this particular image. Well, it's not to say that I'm having a bath every day, every morning. Well, that's a different story. But when the entire world is busy with the technology, I was busy with the nature. So that's the difference between me and my research team. If I just brief it in a different way, it's like this. I don't know whether you'll be able to hear this. I'm not a tabla player. I'm not a musician, but this is exactly what we do as a team. We get the sense from the nature, we put our science, and finally, it's a wonderful creation. So, what wonderful invention! You're talking about 25 years of being innovative for Sri Lanka. So, this is exactly what we're doing at University of Morutu. My whole story, my research team whole story was really began with this the beautiful creature, the Vespa bee Rankumbala. You can see the Vespa bee get the wet clay with saliva, and he created a next for for the next generation. It's not for generation, it will be only for one generation. If the kid coming from this particular nest feels like if they want to build the same house, a house for his generation at the same place is there for them as well. So if you want to know about and study about the sustainability, the Vespa bee is the best example, the living example for you to study. At the same time, the bottom structures I have just put for the three images. If anybody asks, what are the best, the comfortable structures you lived, I could easily say these are the structures I love to be with. So that was my the inspiration for my first patent. That's my mud concrete block, and we didn't stop at that particular point. You can see this particular bird. It's the same clay and the soil, but he mixed the clay with little fibers, and he make a stronger wall than the West would be. So we got the inspiration from there. It's we actually, not me. So from I'm a person who love to be with the circular economy and the lean economy. I was working with the waste material. You can see from the Daul Kunudu to a lot of the material, artificial and the natural, the materials. We have mixed them together, and we ensure 8 patents from mud technology. So all these the structures, even this is it's the termite nest. So it's the world best naturally air conditioned structure in the world. So we got the inspiration from the termite nest. It's a multi-layered ventilated structure. So we got the inspiration, the science from the termite nest, and we created a multi-layered hybrid air conditioning system for dwelling. So it's done and it's patented. And well, all these the technologies are not really just patents, just inventions. Those are innovations as well. The beauty is my team always. I love to get other disciplines, the peoples from other disciplines, architects, the agriculture or whatever. Then finally we can easily convert these inventions to innovations. Let me show you a few other interesting the stories. These Sigiriya the mirror wall. I wanted to decode the Sigiriya mirror wall to get the same reflection and the texture. It's a very soft and a strong wall. So we started working with Alan Sludge. the water purification system. It's a huge the problem in the water purification system. So we tried decoding the mirror wall technology, the material starting from this waste. You can see there are a lot of artificial and natural materials, and finally we managed to decode the Sigiriya mirror wall. Now it's available, technology is available, and this again another interesting story. You can see. I'm very sure you may have seen the projections in trees. Actually, we got this particular inspiration and the story from Attakatha. You know about Attakatha. We believe it's a myth and a story, but there are a lot of sciences inside the Attakatha. So we got this particular story from Attakatha. We wanted to decode this particular technology. Actually, Sigiriya, there is a protective coating over the Sigiriya painting. So we wanted to decode this particular the Sigiriya painting coating. And we start actually, the Attakatha says they have used the wood apple resin for this particular development. But the modern day, for you to commercialize, if you want to do it in small scale, yeah, the wood apple is not going to work. So we redeveloped the same the material using pine resin, and now it's done and dusted. And anybody wishes the Sigiri mirror wall, the protective coating is readily available for you. It's 100% natural water base and natural the coating, which the technology was developed by my team. And once again, all these technologies are not effort of myself. It's a big team working together. We have engineers, we have some the technologies, even I mean from different the people from across the country and even outside people as well from other universities as well. So this is another very recent development. This was developed and introduced last year. Especially with the air conditioning structures, you have issue with the indoor air quality, especially with the CO2 level. So we wanted to develop a hybrid IoT based the air purification system using the trees. We have tested a lot of the trees available in Sri Lanka, and we studied the behavior for different light levels and light colors, and finally we managed to develop a IoT based air purification system using the plants, locally available plants. What was used was the tipili, and with that we managed to create that. And this again another interesting story. This old timber is always lasting more than the modern day timber with the modern day sophisticated timber treatment technique. So we wanted to see how it is. And we started with all these Tempita Viharas, and it's a huge the story. And finally, you can see even the art graduates are within my team. So we got together and we managed to develop 100% natural timber treatment technique using leaf extracts, nano level the leaf extract, and we received the PCT for this particular technology. That was 2 years back. And this once again, it's not a mistake. Actually, it's another very old technology. This the technology was started in way back in 700 BC, and actually after 300 AC, the entire technology has vanished from Sri Lanka. This is called black and red ware, and that has a huge the chemical advantage for having these the two colors because the color get with a chemical exchange. So we want to record this particular 3000 years old the pottery industry in Sri Lanka, that is called red and black ware. So we went up to Anuradhapura. We worked day and night with their old the pottery the people, and finally we managed to decode the old the red and black pair. Now we can proudly say the red and black pair technology, which is more than 3000 years old, is available back in Sri Lanka. So proudly we can tell the entire world, look, I mean, if you can produce this small piece of a the pottery and sell at the airport, I don't know which the politician will start doing, but still, if they want to do that, if they want to market Sri Lanka, the technology is there for them to start a new business. Well, that's about the pottery. Well, there are a lot of thousands and thousands of the examples about the sustainable development. If you can think in a way and try to find a solution in natural or near natural, you have the future. Once again, this particular video is again from my the coral tank. I was talking about my coral transplant project and my research on the coral transplant. I'm not going to talk about the corals and coral transplant here, but to tell you one interesting story getting from Okinawa. In Okinawa Beach, 2014, they found the entire beach has gone, all the corals were died. And they wanted to they wanted to transplant. They got tiny coral pieces and they started planting them in Okinawa Beach in 2014. And today you can see it's a thick coral jungle. If you do the right thing with the right team, with the right intention, with the right attitude, with the winning goal, the sustainability will be definitely there. Well, I always like to show this particular image. This takes me back 10 years back from today. I met this particular family in Kilinochchi 2015. I met them. There was a UN mission to build the houses for affected communities. Actually, this mother and the father, they don't have anybody in this world except these two, because their entire family was killed. No children, no relatives. Everybody was killed due to the bad war happened in Sri Lanka. And thanks to this UN mission, they invited me to build structures for the build houses for these people. So that's me 10 years ago. I was so young at that time, even though I look old today. I managed to build them a house and handed over the house in 2016. So that was the day I handed over the structure. You can see their smile. It's not a LOL type. The smile is so genuine and so calm, the smile. So I always believe if I'm standing today, it is thanks to these two people. So that's the sustainability. Whatever you do, it should reach the community. Thank you very much. I think I stopped on time.
Thank you, sir. That was truly thought-provoking keynote session. You left us with so many things to think about. And your words remind us that engineering is not just about building structures, but about building a future that is kinder to our planet. Now, let's begin the conversation. We invite our participants to join the conversation through Q&A session. You can send your questions via Zoom Q&A panel.
You are going to pick them or you want me to take them?
So I'll tell questions.
Okay, sure.
The first question. So there is a contradiction between nature and technology. Is there a contradiction between nature and technology?
Not at all. I am not going to believe that there's a conflict and or rather contradiction between the nature and the technology. The issue is actually not the technology, the way we approach the technology, way we use it. We need to understand the technology is a tool. It's not the life. It's not everything. It's the life. I mean, even in history, even the ancient time, they have also used the technology, but knowing it's a tool. But today, you take your mobile phone, it's no longer a tool, it's your life. You basically trap within the technology than you use the technology. So that's the difference between the history and today. But to tell you, the technology and the nature, technology and the sustainability, there's no mismatch. It's so going together, but unfortunately, that's all based on how we tackle the problem, I could say.
Thank you, sir, for your thought. The second question we got is, how can ancient road construction techniques inspire modern sustainable infrastructure planning?
I couldn't get you. If I get it right, you're talking about the road construction, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
The question is
it's
about road
basically a
construction.
cycle. I mean, you need to understand your the question and way to solve it. Now, let's say the ancient road construction technology will not be able to match that with the modern day requirement because your requirements are so high. You always love to take own your own vehicle. It's not the public transport, it's the private transport. Now you need wider roads, you need I mean your requirements are completely against the nature. But even being with complex the question, still you can be sustainable. That's a different story. But you can't complete you can't 100%, or even you can't take the same old technology and apply today. But you can get an inspiration all the time, whatever, whether it's construction, whether it's wherever, even agriculture. That's why I took those the three examples: the construction technology, the construction agriculture, and the medicine. So whatever the discipline, still you can refer them, you can copy them, but not to copy and apply the way as it was. You copy it, you put it here, you put your sense using the modern day technology as a tool, and you apply. Then you can make it sustainable, and you can exactly regenerate what was happening in the past, not exactly, but exactly as it should be today, which match your modern day the requirements. So whatever, whether it's road construction or whatever, what you need to do is that not to copy 100%. If you start copying the ancient technology, it will be a failure, you will be a disaster, and you will be a joker among to the public, because that technology cannot be 100% matched with your modern day technologies, modern day requirements.
Thank you, sir. There is another question. Are the ancient technologies limited only to the civil engineering field?
Not at all. I mean, that's what I was telling. It's not the engineering, it's not the agriculture, it's not about the medicine. So wherever you go, you have the technology, but unfortunately, you haven't given the recognition and the value. So if you give the recognition and value, if you start digging into the depth, you will be able to find lot in the other disciplines as well.
Okay, sir. There is another question. Sir, what about building in past life Satmahal Prasad, Kingdom of Parakrama? How was that take?
Once again, I mean, you have to
That
measure
was
about you have to balance the requirement with your with the needs, the availability, and the suitability. So you need to measure all three together. Then only you can think of regenerating the structures. Just because the King Parakram Bahu in in Polonnaru built a seven-story palace with 2 meter thick walls. You can't have it today because you don't need that particular technology today, because technology is so advanced today. You take Vastu, those days there are a lot of rules and regulation with respect to construction through Vastu that was to restrict and control the structures. But today, you take the cross wall connection. You can't make a cross wall connection with the bricks. But today, you don't have to worry about the cross wall connection, because you can easily put a reinforcement the two beams together, or even steel beams together to do the construction. So again, I mean, I'm telling you, can't just get the past and reapply here today. You need to understand the modern the world, how the modern walls think, and modern day requirements, and then you can get the inspiration from the history. Not that you bring the Parakram Bahu's palace, seven-story palace, and built in today. It's impossible. It will be a joke.
Thank you, sir. As we are running out of time, it's time to end the Q&A session. Thank you once again, Professor Halwatura, for sharing your invaluable insights and for taking the time to patiently and thoroughly engage with each of our questions. Your deep knowledge, practical experience, and inspiring perspective on sustainable and resilient infrastructure have truly enriched this session. We are incredibly grateful for your presence here today and for the way you have not only educated us, but also motivated us to think beyond conventional boundaries. Sessions like this remind us of the power of engineering to make meaningful changes.
Hey, thank you very much.
As we wrap up this second webinar of ReXtro 2025 series, we extend our heartfelt thanks to all our participants for being a part of this impactful conversation. Your presence and engagement made this session very meaningful. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar happening on 24th September, where Dr. Sanat Mahavitanage will speak on the power of presence, mindfulness, driving well-being, and performance. It promised to be another insightful session you won't want to miss. Until we meet again, thank you, stay inspired, and keep moving forward.